Butterflies are pretty. That's all I've got for this, for an intro for this. That's all I've got. I literally could not come up with anything for an intro for this. Nothing at all. This is a first. I literally drew a blank. Butterflies are pretty. That's all I've got for this. Hey, what's up, you guys? FilmFan0599 here again, and today we're going to review Before I Wake. So, Before I Wake stars Kate Bosworth, Thomas Jane, and Jacob Tremblay, and what this film is basically about. It's about, this couple who, their son, they unfortunately, died. Like, they don't necessarily say exactly when it happened, but it's been a while since it happened, and they unfortunately can't have any more children, so what they do is they adopt this kid named Cody. And Cody is very unusual. His dreams can come to reality when he sleeps. They basically become a reality, his dreams. But so do his nightmares. And that is not too pretty. So, what did I think of Before I Wake? Now, Before I Wake was a movie that I had very much high interest in. Because of, one, for the cast, and two, for the premise, actually. I was very intrigued by the premise, and three, the director. The director is Mike Flanagan. He's directed some great horror films, like Oculus and Hush, and what I have heard with Ouija, Origin of Evil, and Gerald's Game. I haven't seen either one of them, but I've heard great things about them. So I definitely had some intrigue going into this for Before I Wake. But the movie has been pushed back so many times because of the studio, Levittilli Media, because around this time they were going bankrupt, like 2016, 2015-ish, like they were going bankrupt, and this movie, unfortunately, was one of those movies that was getting flip-flopped around with release dates because of that. But finally, Netflix decided to distribute it, and we have it here. And I really liked it a lot, honestly. I really liked Before I Wake very much. It's a very good... Now, I must stress this. Do not expect this to be a full-on horror film. That's something I kind of need to stress with this. This movie is not a full-on horror film. It's mostly a family drama with horror elements added to it. That's basically what this movie is. Like, it's a family drama with, like, horror and fantasy elements added to it. And I actually quite like that more. I actually liked it that was like that more than just a straight-up horror film. I honestly really like that about that with this movie. So, let's get into why I like this movie so much. First being the acting with the film. The acting is really solid with the movie. I thought everyone did a pretty solid job in the film. Kate Bosworth was really good. I really enjoyed her in the movie. She was very good. I did enjoy her a lot. This is definitely one of her better performances. I'm not saying like Kate Bosworth was like a bad actress or anything, but she isn't really the greatest. But I did actually like her a lot in this movie, and I really did actually care for her character a lot. So, yeah, I did think she did a good job. Thomas Jane was great. I really enjoyed him as well. The dude's very underrated. I feel like, he doesn't get enough credit as an actor. And he was really great in this. I really enjoyed Thomas Jane in the film. Jacob Tremblay was really good, too. I thought he did a pretty solid job in the film as well. So, yeah, overall, the acting is really good in this movie. I thought everyone did a pretty solid job in the film. Like I said, the kind of the drama with the movie, it's kind of much more of a family drama of trying to deal with the fact that you've lost someone. That's basically what mostly this movie focuses on, than more just being like a scary horror film. And I actually really like that. It's a nice little character study, I guess you could say. And it's really enjoyable. I really liked it a lot. It honestly made me really feel for both of these characters that just went through so much because they lost their son. And, with Cody having these dreams and whatever, it's just kind of hard for them. And I really liked seeing that. And it was really nice and really different from what, usually horror, not, like horror films necessarily try to do. It was actually really good. I really liked the drama element of this a lot more than kind of the horror and the fantasy elements with this movie. So yeah, I thought the drama was really good. When they do use those horror and fantasy elements in the film, I do think they're actually really good. I really like them a lot. Like I said, that's not the main focus of the movie, but when they do use those horror and fantasy elements for the film, it's really solid. I did like it a lot, and it fit with kind of the unique atmosphere with the movie, and I really liked that a lot. It was very unique and very creative, honestly, and it was really good. I really liked seeing that a lot with this movie. I thought the horror and the fantasy element with this movie really added a nice touch to it, I thought, and it was really good, and it was very solid. I did think they did a pretty solid job with adding a horror and fantasy element to kind of a much more just like family drama, I guess you could say, and I did like it a lot, honestly. So yeah, the writing is pretty solid with the film. I thought the writing was actually really good with this movie. Directing is really solid too. I thought the directing was actually pretty good with this movie. Like I said, Mike Flanagan directed this film, and his directing is very solid with the movie. It's very well shot, very well edited. Cinematography is really good with the movie. So yeah, I do think Mike Flanagan does a very solid job directing Before I Wake, and it was really good. He did do a very good job directing this film. And honestly, the movie moves at a really good pace. There was never a time where I was honestly bored with the movie. It actually, surprisingly enough, moves at a very nice, natural pace. The movie's an hour and 37 minutes, and it actually moves at a nice, natural pace. And there was never a time where I was honestly bored with the movie. I was very invested in it 100%. So, yeah, the movie actually moves at a nice, solid pace. Now, there are some negatives I do have with Before I Wake, and those negatives are, first being that when they do scares, like with the horror element and stuff like that, it is kind of predictable at times. Like it is. They like to use those kind of predictable jump scares at times with the horror element with the movie. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like, just times they do, whenever they harken back to the horror element of the movie, they sometimes use those predictable jump scares, and it's just like, oh, really, Mike Flanagan? You know, you're much better than this. Like, why do you need to do that? So, yeah, the visual effects are not that great, to be honest with you. They aren't, like, some of the worst I've ever seen, but they aren't that great, honestly. Like, I do think they could have been much better. Like, especially of how the creature looks, the Cankerman. I think they could have done a much better job of fixing up the CGI for that. So, yeah, and lastly, I did think, although the ending's not bad or anything, I did think it was kind of a little bit too cheesy and corny. Like, it's kind of like a typical ending of what this type of a film would kind of do. I guess you could say, like, it's kind of predictable and it's kind of cheesy. I'm just like, of course the movie would kind of end like that. You know what I mean? And I just thought, like, it was just kind of just a really cheesy ending to me. Like, I'm like, really? Like, it's not bad or anything, but I'm just like, the ending was just kind of a little bit too cheesy for me. So, yeah. But overall, I did think Before I Wake was a really solid family drama. You know, like I said, not necessarily really like a horror film, although it does have like horror and fantasy elements to it. But what made this movie really good for me was much more of just the family drama with it. I think that's what made this movie so enjoyable for me. So, yeah, I really liked Before I Wake a lot. I think it's very underrated too. It's not really getting the greatest of reviews. Not like terrible or anything, but I do think it deserves much better reviews than it's getting, because it's a very solid film. So, it's time for my official grade on Before I Wake. My official grade on Before I Wake is a B+. Like I said, very solid movie. I really liked Before I Wake a lot. It's a very good movie. I definitely do recommend it. If you have Netflix, it's right there. It's right on Netflix. If you want to go and watch it, go and watch it right on Netflix. It's a very enjoyable movie, and I did quite like it a lot. So yeah, it definitely deserves a B+. So if you have seen Before I Wake, what did you think of it? Leave in the comment section below. And I'm FilmFan0599, and we will see you out later. Peace.